out to me.
It's my pleasure. I mean, I was just so delighted when I got the album sent through by, I think it was Betsy Brown who sent it through. And
Uh-huh.
I listened through, and of course, New Orleans is my spiritual home in as much as years and years ago, Tiffany, back in the 1980s, I came to Jazz Fest like 7 years in a row. So I kind of got an affiliation with New Orleans, and now anything to do with the city is sort of second nature to me. So your album just came through, and I thought, wow, this lady's got a whole lot of stories to tell.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. And I'm just reading your biography. You've had quite an interesting life, catching up on your birth family and stuff, which is very interesting and revealing. Uh,
Yeah.
so, so the musical heritage came from your birth family that you've kind of caught up with in a hurry, sort of thing, by the sound of it.
Yeah, I met my biological family about 13 years ago now.
Yeah,
Um, and it was life-changing for me, absolutely, to realize that, this music that I had within me my whole life, came from a long lineage of
yeah.
musicians.
Oh, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Because it is literally in the blood, then, Tiffany, isn't it? It's not something you actually learn about. It's there as an integral part of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, discovering my biological family really reaffirmed like ideas I had about nature versus nurture,
Yeah.
and how certain things really can be in your DNA. And I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So going to the album, I mean, your musical heritage, you've kind of absorbed all sorts of styles, have you, along your young years?
Yeah, I mean, my parents that raised me, my adopted parents, my dad listened to a lot of like old New Orleans stuff like Fats Domino and, Irma Thomas and stuff like that. He used to listen to the local radio station that would play artists like that. And then my mother, listened to a lot of country music.
Yeah,
And so I had all of that. And plus, growing up in New Orleans, and just growing up in the New Orleans area because I grew up in Slidell.
yeah,
But growing up in that area and just being immersed in that vibe, I guess influenced me a lot. And then as I got older, I started getting into my own musical tastes and a lot of the 60s and 70s singer-songwriters and then I got a lot of jazz influence when I met my biological family
yeah.
because my aunt and my mother are both jazz singers. And there's a lot of jazz in my family, and I really got into jazz for a long time there. I still love jazz, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So it kind of mutates into the album because so many songs on the album have got a jazz bass and a blues bass. There's such a mixing, a potpourri, as you would, of styles.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've been in a traditional jazz band doing like traditional New Orleans jazz, like Louis Armstrong type
Yeah,
stuff, for about 9 years now. And yeah, there's a lot of heavy jazz influence because I've just been doing it for so long. It's just become such a big part of me.
yeah. Well, it sounds that way as well. As your songwriting is, as it were, from the soul, you're very blunt in your lyrics.
I'm very blunt in general.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing, and it comes. I mean, I've been playing "Sassy Bitch" like mad because it's just with your Louisiana accent, the bitch doesn't come out. It softens it, Tiffany, so it doesn't sound quite so insulting.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, sometimes me and my girlfriends call each other that, as in an affectionate way. And the
Yeah,
reason that that song came about actually is because one of my best friends is actually my guitar player's wife. And I was talking to her about this like internet troll that was harassing me during the pandemic. And I was like, "Oh, Megan, why is this lady being so mean to me and stuff?" And Megan said, "'Cause you're a sassy bitch, and that's why we're friends." And so she inspired that song. She
Yeah.
gave
Oh,
me
okay.
the
Uh, well, I've got a treasured CDR of of the album here, which what I must do is I must buy a copy from your website of the actual CD, so I've got a proper copy to play. It's always
Yeah,
so much better when you got the physical CD than you have a bit of plastic in your hand.
right, right.
Do you have another album out on Nola preceding this one?
Yeah, I did a duet album with my first cousin, Eric Johansson,
Yeah.
who's also a blues artist locally, and he does really well. He played with Tab Benoit and Cyril Neville.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Is that available anywhere from Nola or
Mhm.
yeah, online?
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
also
on.
on my Bandcamp website. Yes, it
Okay,
is.
right. So I have to get a copy of that as well because your voice is just capturing me.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Well, that album I did with Eric, the title track is about it's called Blues in My Blood, and it's about my mother giving me up for adoption and like how that affected me growing up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like my autobiography kind of song.
And of course, having read your biography on your website now, I now realise where the Bayou Liberty comes from, as in being the road you were born on. So that all makes more sense now.
Yeah, yeah. It was just kind of oh God, I spent what felt like an eternity stressing over what I was going to call this album. And I knew I wanted to have some like strong woman, empowerment, coming into your own kind of a theme. And then I was like, and it's also about me growing up and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, Bayou Liberty Road, like Bayou Liberty, coming up out of the bayou, moving to New Orleans, finding my roots and finding myself. It just like it literally woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning with the idea, and I
Yeah.
just like couldn't go back to sleep. I was so excited. I was like, this is exactly, and the vision of the album cover, like it all came to me all at once in a vision.
What do you listen to when you're relaxing, Tiffany?
Oh man, I'm all over the place.
I thought you might be.
Yeah, I'm always digging into new stuff, new old stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I hope
know,
you might say that.
like new to me.
Yeah,
But I've been revisiting some stuff that I knew about lately from the 80s that I've been really listening to a lot. And this is just recently. I've been getting into some 80s synth and early Genesis with Peter Gabriel,
yeah.
and I've been listening to some like Susie Sue and the Banshees, and just lately. But then I also really have just recently gotten into this country singer, actually the country singer whose voice inspired George Jones, Lefty Frizzle.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
I
going way
never heard.
back.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, and so I've been listening to a lot of Lefty Frizzle. I just recently got some more Tammy Wynette that I've been listening to a lot of,
Yeah.
and uh, John Namath, the producer, turned me on to a couple of newer artists that I'm really loving, Margot Price and Yola. Um,
Udola, yeah, yeah.
yes, oh my God. I can't get enough of her. I want to buy everything that she has.
I
I
think
love
she's from
how,
England.
is she?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I just love her so much. I just love how she's doing like kind of country
yeah,
music, but she's got this like big soulful
yeah,
voice.
yeah.
And I'm just really digging it because I can't think of anybody else, any other artist that's doing anything like that right now. And I feel like she's like a kindred spirit in her style. I'm really digging her.
Yeah. I think this is where it all comes together. Especially with the Louisiana and South Louisiana, particularly styles with the country side of music and the blues and the Cajun and Zydeco and all the bits that go into sort of this uh, gumbo, as it were.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah,
and I think that country music is very similar to Cajun music. They're both very like akin to one another. I mean, most Zydeco music is just a waltz, like a
yeah.
country waltz. And I don't know. I was grew up with that. I'm immersed in that, and it just kind of comes out naturally when I'm writing.
Yeah. Well, I think speaking of writing, I'm looking at some of the songs on here on the album, which are really graphic, probably graphic descriptions of your life. Like "Spit on Your Grave" is a how do you not start a program with the lead track from an album which has a title like that, which is
I knew it was like a little aggressive, and I knew that I would kind of be, eviscerating myself publicly with this album, but that's just kind of how I write, and I just can't help myself. My writing is so personal. It's always been a means for me to get something off my chest. It's always been like my personal therapy.
yeah, yeah,
So when traumatic things have happened in my life, writing about them always helps me process my thoughts and putting it all out there. I've always been one of those people that maybe shared too much or just aired all of their dirty laundry and put all their cards out on the table. And that's just how I am. So what you see is what you get.
that comes through in "Crawfish and Beer" as well, which is another sort of real down home song.
Uh-huh, absolutely. Yeah. That's just about having some kind of a family member at a family reunion that's hassling you all the time.
If you were pointing people at your album, Tiffany, which two or three tracks would you say were things that kind of best describe your diversity of styles?
Oh, I would say Mountain, which is probably my favorite track.
Yeah.
Mountain, Devil in the Darkness, and I don't know, Sassy Bitch or My Soul, My Choice,
I
because
was
those
saying
are
my
all
song,
kind of.
my choice would look to be the one which is underlining as being "This is Tiffany" sort of thing.
Now, the tempo of that song was not my idea. When I originally wrote that song, it was slower
Yeah,
and probably more closer in style, I'd say, to Sassy Bitch.
yeah.
But John had a great idea to speed it up because we were looking over all the songs that I had written for the album, and he was like, "We really need some more fast songs."
Hmm.
And he had the idea to change the tempo to more of a Memphis soul number. And I actually like the song much better now. That was an excellent idea. I loved working with John. He was full of great ideas.
Yeah, and it comes through. It comes through. So,
Yeah.
this album came out when, Tiffany? Early this year?
Yeah, in July
Okay.
16th.
So you have a shelf life of what, maybe 6 or 7 months on that, do you think? And then
Yeah.
you're working on another one already?
I mean, I'm always writing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I've already got quite a handful of songs in addition to other songs that we didn't end up using on the album because I had like 20 songs written
Oh, okay.
by the
Yeah.
time it was time to make this album, and we really had to weed out some. Just it was really hard. I had to rely on my band and John and Sally to help me. I kept saying, I can't kill my babies. Y'all are gonna have to kill them for me because they're all my babies and I can't kill them. They were like, "You're not killing them. You're just not using them on this album."
Yeah, there's always another time.
But I'm always writing. I mean, I wrote. We just had Hurricane Ida, and
Yeah.
I was, kind of down for about a month, because my daughter also was home for a couple of weeks. We still have some COVID issues here, and they had a COVID case in my daughter's class, and they had to send her home for 2 weeks to quarantine. So I was home for about a month, and I wrote like 3 songs in that month while I was just doing nothing. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oh well, your
idle
creative,
hand.
yeah, your creative talents in your mind, in your hand, and your. Do you play an instrument as well, or you just sing?
No, I play the ukulele, and I can play guitar in an open tuning with a slide because
Yeah,
I can play it by ear,
yeah.
and I can play a little piano by ear too. I used to be pretty good at piano, but after Katrina destroyed the piano I had, I didn't really play as much anymore.
Okay. So the
I can still
banjo on the album is you, is it?
Yeah, the ukulele's
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If I'd had the album, I'd have seen that, but I just had now I know because you've spoken about it, so that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. And the slide guitar in Devil in the Darkness is me too.
Okay, I shall listen to that with added pleasure now.
Yeah.
So touring, are you hoping to get outside of Louisiana or outside of the USA in the near future?
I'm going on my very first little tour. I'm leaving in a week. We're going just a little regional tour for a week. You know, we're hitting up Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina. And I'm really excited about it. I've never toured abroad, but I definitely would like to do that when I can make it happen.
Yeah,
I've never done it before. I haven't the faintest idea how, but I'll figure it out.
we'll find a way. Let's get you into
Yeah.
Europe and get some more publicity for the lovely Tiffany Pollack and this Louisiana magic music.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to come to Europe. That'd be fantastic. And my bass player's done some international touring, so I got to get him to help me make it happen because he knows what he's doing.
Okay, and I'm sure it will. Well, for the time being, now I've got more background on the album. I should play even more Tiffany music on the radio. And now I've got this audio as well and the visuals as well. I may well edit this properly up and put it up onto YouTube at some point so the world can see and hear Tiffany Pollack at her finest.
Oh, thanks, Kai. That's so cool. Thank you.
Anyway, it's been lovely to meet you and to talk with you. And I
You
shall keep on playing your music. You keep on doing what you're doing because it's going down so well and making my heart beat a lot faster.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, shoot me your address and I'll send you my albums.
That's very, very kind of you, Tiffany. Anyway, I'll
Yeah.
leave you to in peace for a Friday morning now, and I'll see you at some other point and keep listening, keep singing.
I will. Thanks, Clive. You have a great rest of your day.
Nice to meet you. Bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.